Hey Tally, happy patch 9.0.5. You wanna come run some dungeons for some Valor?
No thanks, Evie.
Okay, you wanna, actually the Valor thing is basically it now I think about it.
I don't think so, Evie. You seem to be forgetting one very important new thing that we have now.
Is it the massive tree you're riding?
It's the massive tree I'm riding! It's so big and leafy and chonky and I love it. Hey, you wanna get on your tree and we can walk around Ardenweald on our trees and people will be like, where's Taliesin Evitel? All I see are these trees, because they'll think that these are normal trees, but really they aren't normal trees, like in the zone, Evie, because really they are big walking mount trees, and it's like a really good joke. What do you think?
Nah, I think I'll give it a miss. That big tree mount just doesn't feel very safe to me for some reason.
Ah, well, suit yourself. I've got plenty of other friends coming over for the tree party anyway. Oh, here they come now! Khadgar, Jaina, Sylvanas. Oh. Cool, so what Mythic Plus keys do you have?
Knowledge is power.
Hello, Internet, Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset, Taliesin Evitel's Wondrous Wisdom Show, in a week where, perhaps surprisingly, it's 9.0.5, fam! And yes, okay, we knew this thing was imminent because John Haidt said it was coming in March, and when John Haidt says something is coming at a certain time, then you believe him. Except if it's that one time when he told you when Shadowlands was releasing, but everyone's allowed the odd blip now and again. And in fairness, anyway, how is he supposed to know? He's only the executive producer. But let's just say, I wouldn't have been totally shocked if 9.05 had arrived at 11:59 PM on the 31st of March, 2022. I was expecting it next week at the absolute best case scenario earliest, so to have it here, now, this reset is an unexpected joy. Mostly because, obviously, it's an update, our first update in the 3.5 months Shadowlands has been out, which, you know, it's a long old time, isn't it? There's important changes to classes, covenants, and systems. There's the brand new Valor system to get to grips with, a whole host of quality of life changes to pick through, and of course, a massive tree. And that's all splendid. But also, of course, patch 9.05 being here clears the way for the real main event, 9.1. And yes, the very distinct and noticeable lack of any kind of art assets or in-game footage in the BlizzConline announcement suggests that patch is like 1,000 years away. 1,000
years is so many years.
But it will now be the next thing on the PTR. It is the next thing in the pipeline. It is on the way. We just don't know when. And so obviously in this episode, we will be doing what we do for every new patch, covering all of the features and telling you exactly why you shouldn't come back for patch 9.0.5, and also why you should. Because there are plenty of people with that decision to make. As Wowhead reports this week, new figures from analysts SuperData have shown that after a record-breaking start to the expansion, player numbers have now, as expected, followed the trend that all post-Wrath expansions have of settling back down to normal levels, which is about 40% less players than Shadowlands had when it was at peak expansion launch hype and top grossing PC game in the world 3 months ago. And that's not really news, I know, so I'm probably just going to scoot straight over it without further discussion. After all, we've got more important things to— oh, no, it's a shit show, obviously. Half of WoW players have quit! What's going on? Well, Blizz, this is what happens when you make a trash game, you get a dead game. Of course players are leaving. This is easily the worst expansion. Oh, look, everyone agrees with me. This is a fish expansion, when Blizzard is the real WoW killer. Which is— look, all subjectivity about the quality or not of Shadowlands as an expansion aside, what these figures show, if they're accurate, and honestly, who knows about that, is a game in very rude health indeed. Sub numbers always spike for an expansion launch and then settle back down to normal a couple of months later. Shadowlands is following the exact same pattern as Legion, despite having had less updates in this time than Legion, with the key word here really being normal, which it would be pretty uncharitable or dishonest to call bad or worrying, since normal in this case means being the 5th highest grossing PC game on the planet this month. So no, this doesn't bear any more talking about other than to say, well done? I guess. Although, and we're all thinking it, if these figures are to be believed, then clearly Dungeon Fighter Online is where all the money is. So you know what? This is a Dungeon Fighter Online channel from now on, fam. Join us for 6 videos a week about my favourite PC game, Dungeon Hunter. I mean Dungeon Fighter Online. Shit, I love that game. It's my favourite. But however normal it may be to have a spike of players for a game's launch that then settles back down to normal, that means there are a lot of players currently not playing who might be wondering whether patch 9.0.5 is something they should come back for. And if that's you, then this is the video you have been waiting for, because me and Evitel are going to tell you all about the patch and why you shouldn't come back for it. And also maybe why you should, but mostly why you shouldn't. Okay, Evie, go, 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 go.
Don't come back for patch 9.0.5 if you saw the BlizzConline announcement and thought, oh hey, that actually looks pretty sweet. I mean, the bits they allowed me to see looked pretty sweet. A new zone on chains? I love zones on chains, those are my favorite zones. New armor sets and mounts, one of which looks like a Vulpera Falcor from Neverending Story, empowered conduits, new renown levels, new story campaigns involving dreadlords, a new mythic mega dungeon, and a raid where we fight Kel'Thuzad and Sylvanas? Holy shit! Who wouldn't want to come back for this patch? It looks legit! Sorry, it sounds legit! Because you're right, that does sound great and I'm very much looking forward to it. But that's patch 9.1. This right now is patch 9.0.5, which has none of that. And seriously, I mean like none of it. No new story quests, no new renown levels. In fact, most players will hit renown cap the same week 9.0.5 hits, so it's kind of like the opposite of new renown levels. No new zones, or areas, or dungeons, or dungeon affixes, or raids, or anything that would generally be considered content, really at all, which... Okay, I made that sound pretty bad actually, didn't I? I probably shouldn't have compared it to 9.1 straight off the bat, in hindsight. Tally?
What?
I basically just said there's like no content in 9.0.5. What do I do now?
Okay, well, while there is none of the content we would associate with a major patch, like Evie just described, it would be wrong to say that there is nothing worth talking about or doing in here, including the long-awaited and much hyped arrival of something that the player base has been crying out for since, well, since forever really, but especially since the beginning of Shadowlands. Valor points, which obviously for many players will be a grade A 9-carat top draw reason to come back to the game, but don't come back for 9.0.5 if you are expecting Valor points to be like a PvP vendor, but for PvE, where you work hard to rack up your points and then mosey on down to the NPC to take your pick from their a la carte menu of tasty gear treats before using the rest of your points, because you've got loads because they're so easy to get, on upgrading your new items. Or if you expect Valor to be like Valor has been in previous expansions, or if you hate doing Mythic Plus dungeons, because the Shadowlands iteration of this system is very much a Mythic Plus concern. Players gain 50 Valor for each daily Covenant calling they complete, and varying amounts from Mythic dungeons depending on their level. There is a weekly cap of 5,000 total Valor that you can earn in a week, which will increase by an extra 750 Valor per week. But a character can only hold 1,500 Valor at a time, so if you haven't got any items that you want upgrading, or you don't have the achievements to upgrade them further, you can't save up huge amounts of Valor for when you can. And I say if you don't have the items, because you don't buy gear with Valor. No, no, no. Only gear that drops in Mythic dungeons from now on, as in since patch 9.0.5 launched, even can be upgraded. And by the way, that doesn't include gear that is in your Great Vault this reset week either, because f***ing lol. And I say if you don't have the achievements, because your Mythic Plus achievements determine the maximum level that you can use Valor to upgrade that gear to. So anyone can upgrade to item level 200, but you need the Shadowlands Keystone Explorer achievement timing every dungeon at Mythic plus 5 or higher to upgrade them to 207. Current Keystone Conqueror, all dungeons timed at plus 10 to upgrade to 213, and be a current Keystone Master, all dungeons timed to plus 15 or above to upgrade that gear to item level 220. Those Keystone achievements are account-wide, but at the time of writing, it's unclear if that means any character on your count will be able to upgrade gear to those levels, or if each of your alts will also need to complete the achievement to have access to those upgrade levels. Which, yes, I know, sounds like an exquisite shit show in waiting for next week's episode. I know, the shit show connoisseurs among you are lipping your lips right now in anticipation, and I don't blame you. Regardless, Valor upgrades have different costs depending on the item slot in question, ranging from 250 Valor per upgrade level for shields, rings, cloaks, and bracers to 1,000 per rank for double-handed weapons, all of which goes to form what some have described as the Valor system nobody wanted. And if that's you, yeah, this might not be enough to come back for, especially as this is the closest patch 9.0.5 has to real-life bona fide content. And whereas some players will nope out of it entirely, it absolutely will be something that a lot of others put an incredible amount of time into between now and 9.1. I know that I am totally inspired to go out and actually bother getting my Keystone Master achievement now, which does unfortunately mean doing Plaguefall, because Plaguefall is horrible and I am absolutely correct to never touch it, but now I will cautiously touch it. And you know me, I like content or systems that encourage me to go out and do stuff in game that I may not have bothered with otherwise. And I say this as someone that isn't even all that fussed about Valor, to be honest, but it's true. I will run more Mythic Plus dungeons because of this new system, and I inevitably will end up with higher level and more optimized gear than I would have done otherwise. Basically, I'm looking forward to giving it a whirl.
Much of the rest of the patch notes concern class tuning, Covenant tuning, and Legendary tuning, but don't come back for 9.0.5 if you are certain that you need Blizz to pull the ripcord on exclusive Covenant abilities to fully enjoy your time in Shadowlands, because that's not happening. In fact, some of this Covenant tuning is so significant that many players' worst case scenario is about to happen. They may have to switch Covenants to make sure they have the optimal choice for their preferred form of play. The massive improvement to Fleshcraft and the really strong reworking of Conqueror's Banner means for many, 9.0.5 will mean the rise of the Necro Warrior, for example, and okay, so I actually think a lot of warriors will be absolutely happy that they get to switch Covenants in this case because they get to wear the banging Necrolord plate set. So yeah, that's totally a win. That's not a great example of why you shouldn't come back, I admit. Don't be surprised if we start seeing Night Fae Holy Priests in big Mythic Plus runs either, with their Fae Guardians ability now giving the target a cooldown-worthy 20% damage reduction for 20 seconds every minute and a half. Demon Hunters and Rogues also have reworked Necrolord abilities, and while it's totally true that the vast majority of this Covenant tuning is not going to result in mass switching, rather just making those in less popular Covenants for their class feel a bit better about themselves. And that's nice. It's nice to feel better about your trash Covenant choice. Good for you. Oh wait, sorry, almost forgot. Don't come back for 9.0.5 if you were hoping Convoke was going to get nerfed because lol. As for the class and legendary tuning, there's obviously a lot of it. Again, not many metas are changing, but there are some which are. The best thing we can do in this video is to link the useful Wowhead articles in the description that have the time and space to give you the full rundown on all of that and let you know where your class is at and what rune carving they need to be carving. Don't come back for 9.0.5 if you hate tree mounts or democracy, because we will all be getting the Wandering Ancient mount that the player base voted for when we log in. And if you hate the seasons, like maybe you're from Arizona or something, and the idea of leaves changing color at different times of the year and being anything other than spiky water-filled cactus things just really irritates you, then honestly, skip this patch entirely because this tree mount is going to make you shit. Likewise, if you're still sad about not getting the jelly cat you voted for, and seeing the Wandering Ancient is just going to constantly remind you of the Jellycat, to the extent that every shuffling branch demon in Oribos is like a dagger to your heart, which is broken anyway because no Jellycat. Maybe hang on till 9.1 because the next week or so is going to be Tree City.
The majority of other changes in 9.0.5 are small quality of life things, to be honest. Stuff like not having to click on spirits to get your rewards in the Ardenweald Queen's Conservatory minigame. Very nice, but nothing major. So don't come back, so help me, don't come back. If you were hoping for any big changes to Torghast, for example, because beyond tuning tweaks to a whole host of anima powers for most classes, there's nothing fundamental. But if the idea of a new account-wide Venari upgrade that lets you teleport over the annoying and far more deadly than they really should be big chain bridges of death sounds fun, or if you've always really wanted item level recommendations on the different layers of Torghast when you enter, or if the thing that is keeping you away is that there are just too many enemies per floor, and honestly, if Blizz just slightly reduced the number of enemies on each floor, then you would be back in a flash. No questions asked. If that's you, I have some good news.
Oh, I've got one. Don't come back for 9.0.5 if you love to RP, and your favorite RP spot is the Crystal Lake in Elwynn Forest. And the reason you love it there so much is because you think to yourself, you know what I love about the Crystal Lake in Elwynn Forest? I love that there is no house there. Like, it's just this really good houseless spot. Thank goodness for no houses on the banks of Crystal Lake, especially no houses belonging to Volo. I hate that dickhead. It's pretty specific, but it's possible. Because, yeah, on the PTR there's a new mysterious homestead on the banks of Crystal Lake in Elwynn Forest, which in earlier builds used to be called Volo's Homestead, but which is now apparently nameless. Why is it here? Who is Volo, that dickhead? It remains to be seen, and its purpose and meaning will almost certainly not be seen in 9.0.5, so for now, it's just an intriguing little morsel to store away for another time.
We had a whole last bit of my segment there, all about changes to Mythic plus Keystones, and it was,
it was so good. It was
such a glorious, exquisite shit show, because Blizzard, out of nowhere, like, nobody, literally nobody, Blizzard, let's make some changes to the way Mythic Keystones work. And everyone was like, what? No! People were making videos, people were getting angry about it. Oh, it's amazing. So but in the meantime, while we were making the video, like, we recorded that whole section, I was just editing it when I realised that Blizzard had come out and changed it again. So I just cut that whole section because it was, you know, had some really good shit show quotes.
Oh, it was so good.
But it was just wrong to do that, knowing that it had been changed. Basically what happened was, Blizz came out and they were like, hey, you know the way the Mythic Keystone works, where if you've done a plus 15, you're always going to get a plus 14 in your chest no matter what key you do, and everyone likes that. It's a really good change that people enjoy from Shadowlands. Yeah, we're turning that over, making it like BFA again, so your keys degrade, so you always have to keep doing high level keys.
Nice.
And you're always going to get one level below as well. So not so great for alts or mains. People were very angry about it, justifiably. It was an absolute what the F decision.
Just out of nowhere, really.
Lo and behold, due to intense reaction from the community, Blizzard turned around and went, okay. No, so they haven't put it back to the way it was, but they have changed the rules again. So now you will always get the key that you've done. So if you do a plus 15, you'll get a key in your Great Vault. If you get a 15 in your Great Vault. If you do a 14, you get a 14 in your Great Vault. So, like, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
It's a much better
rule.
Fine. It's good. To be honest, it feels like the rule that always should have been in place.
It makes sense. It makes sense to me when I think about it.
Exactly. And another thing, and this is the great thing about like leading up to a new patch like this, things that were even in the patch notes are getting changed all the time. So the other thing is, I mentioned the 1500 holding cap on Valor. The idea that you could have 5,000 and that goes up by 750 each week, but you can only hold 1,500 at any one time. That is in the patch notes as well, but people have been noticing on the PTR as of yesterday that appears to have disappeared from the tooltip. So it might be the 1,500 holding cap isn't a thing anymore, which would be quite useful, I guess. Or it might be that it's still in place and it's just something on the PTR from an old build that it's not appearing or something. Maybe someone like changed the colour of a jug in Shatrath and that meant that the tooltip for Valor completely changed.
As it happens.
That does happen.
It does.
But it's good to be able to come on here and have this bit at the end where we can keep you up to date. That's why we always record this bit last.
That's definitely why we do that.
Oh, wow. So yeah, lots to to look forward to in 9.0.5. I basically can't wait to see the surprises that we weren't expecting. Like, we've been sitting here explaining how 9.0.5 works, and every time when the patch actually goes live, there's always some stuff that just doesn't work as we were told or as we were expecting. I was about to say as it should, but then Blizz turned around and go, no, that's exactly how it's supposed to work.
Expect the unexpected, my friends.
So what about you? Are you all ready for like Valor?
I am ready for Valor.
Have you got your Keystone Master?
Which one is that?
That's 15 plus.
Absolutely not.
Have you got your Keystone Conqueror? That's 10 plus.
No, but that's the one that I'm going to be working towards.
Oh, so you've got your Keystone Explorer then, every one at 5 plus.
I don't think I've done... So, apparently, I don't know how this happened, but there are 3 dungeons that I literally never did on Mythic Plus.
Wow.
I must have just done them on Mythic, and then just... never done them
But
again.
that's what stream is for, though, Evie.
Exactly.
It's for getting together an absolute baller team of absolute ballers.
We did. Did that today.
You know, streamer effects is real. You know, you put together a big team and you go there and you do it, and everyone else is doing really well, and you're like, I'm usually a much better player than this, and you're like, oh, maybe that's because I'm literally reading chat and having funny conversations at the same time.
Insightful, funny conversations. Like, it's not just, fun and games.
But that's why you need an extra good team when you're on stream.
I am working towards plus 10 across the board, and I mean, that'll be useful. If I happen to get a random piece of loot, that's okay, but low item level. To be fair, that hasn't happened to me very often in the past.
Exactly.
Like, when I think about it, actually, that doesn't happen very often. Maybe a couple of times. But so, yeah, I think it'll be, like, kind of situationally useful.
I think that's definitely going to be the main complaint of the first week, is that people are all ready to like get Valor and farm Valor.
I'm gonna get it.
They just haven't got any loot that they can upgrade. They're like, okay,
I think,
now what? I've got some Valor.
I agree. I think people are going to be like, wait.
Guaranteed this is going to be
where's
like,
my loot?
Yeah, like complaint number 1 this week. And I dare say there'll be other complaints as well.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to see if,
it's going to be fun.
If like, because obviously Keystone Master is an account-wide achievement. All of them are. Really looking forward to seeing if that means all characters on an account can upgrade to the achievement that you've got, or if characters need to get that achievement individually. I expect it to be the former, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the latter. And I dare say the community would have some words to say about that as well. Basically, make sure you tune into the Weekly Reset next week, because I've got a feeling
there might be something to talk about.
And of course, obviously, the Weekly Reset is a weekly show. Here on YouTube, and obviously we put out other YouTube videos in the week as well. But if you want breaking news live as it happens, you can come to our stream on Twitch, like especially The Grind.
On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
It's
at the moment.
true, at the moment. At 10 a.m. UK time, me and Evie sit exactly like this. We've literally just finished the stream now, and we're recording this bit. We do some grinding, we play some WoW, we do some chatting,
chats,
we tell some stories,
have some coffee.
We have some Discord. We drink a lot of coffee.
We do.
Whole cafetiere down here. But we also are in a position there where we can cover the breaking news kind of as it happens, or has happened while we were sleeping and things like that.
We can chat about it.
It's
nice.
It's super fun, and we've had a really good time with that stream.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us today. If you liked this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who continue even now to this
very day
to give us their actual real life money. And guys, thank you, because without you, there would be a whole lot less Taliesin Evitel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Laced TV. No, my name is Taliesin from me.
And me, Evitel.
And Anirin too. Until next time, cheerio.